Hello and welcome to Life Happens with Bahati Joyce, where we take life head on and make it happen, bringing you the best of Africa. Today I am with Matilda Kambanga. She is a natural remedy and wellness consultant. She runs her own business where she helps other women with infertility. She's also a wife and a mother, and she's very proud of the work that she does, reaching out to other women. Through her own experience with infertility, she has managed to help so many couples, and she's here to tell us her story. So Matilda, welcome to our show. It's very good to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Bahati?
I'm very well. I want to know more about your business. I think what you're doing is so fantastic. Tell us about your journey with infertility. How and why did you get into this consultancy and what you're doing?
9 years ago, I went through infertility due to polycystic ovaries. It is a disease which makes many women worldwide not to conceive. So I've been visiting many doctors, different hospitals, and I was given an option of medicine. If the medicine is not working, then I'll have to go for surgery.
Is this something you always knew that you had, or it was something that was diagnosed over time?
I never knew I had it until when I was looking for baby. When I visited doctors, they told me I have this polycystic ovary. So it was a new term for me. Doctor told me it's a male-female, more than female hormone for you. That's why I have these hairs on me.
Yeah.
And another symptom, it was for 15 years, I could have period 2 times a year or 4 times a year. I've never had monthly period.
So 15 years and you would have your cycle for only twice a year.
Yes.
That's something. Is this something that is common, especially here in Tanzania?
Yeah, I was in a boarding school. Many of us were in the same situation and we never knew it was a problem. We were happy about it, yeah? You not having period every month. So we were rejoicing.
But you didn't think anything.
Not even in my dream.
So now you're told that you have this disorder, this condition.
Yeah.
What happened?
Doctor is asking me, are you having your period monthly? I'm saying, no, I don't have period. And then doctor is telling me, how can you get pregnant if you're not having your cycles? That is when it triggered me. Oh, so this is a problem.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And what did they recommend? What is the treatment for maybe other women who are going through this?
The other option is medicine.
Okay.
It can start from 3 months to a year.
Okay.
If the medicine is not working, you'll go for surgery. They called it ovarian drilling.
And what was your personal journey? What steps did you take after you found out that you had this condition?
I decided to begin with medicine.
Right. Which
it was very difficult for me because it changed me. I became very angry.
What do you mean? Like how did that...
Like these pregnancy-related things, like you want to vomit all the time, you feel angry all the time.
Because of they try to the hormonal imbalance. Yeah. So the medicine also has side effects, and especially on the hormones, it affects your emotions and all that. Yeah. How did you handle that?
It was too much eating. Too much eating. Yeah. Then I said, no, I cannot continue. Yeah. What if I'm not successful in a month, in 2 months? No, I thought there must be another way. For this treatment, no. I want to continue.
And what they gave you were conventional drugs that are in the market?
Yeah.
But the side effects that you got from this was a lot. That's what you're saying. So how did you deal with that? What you said after 2 months you realized these side effects are too much, and then what?
So I went back to the doctor and I told doctor what are the other options for me. Then they told me they have to go for ovarian drilling.
Sorry, for those who are watching and might not know, what is ovarian drilling?
It's a medical term. They're putting, it's another surgery they do for you on your ovaries to remove those small follicles for you to be able to ovulate. Right,
yeah. Okay. And why did you not want to opt for the surgery?
Because I did ask the doctor, if I do this surgery, is it a permanent cure for me? And what are my chances for me to conceive? And then doctor told me that it's a 50-50 chance for you to conceive. Wow. And I told him, if I do this surgery, does it mean I'll have permanent cure? Doctor said, no, it's not a permanent cure, it will come back. Then I said, why should I go for something which is not permanent cure?
So you tried the medicine at this point, and you're getting all these side effects, but now the surgery doesn't look very promising either. Okay, and how was that for you? What did you feel? What did you experience coming to that realization that you're struggling with this disease?
I got scared, and I wondered if there is a cure for it.
And so how did you now get into natural remedies?
I began to think. I was very positive, believing there must be another way somewhere. How, I don't know. I began to think and think and think. Then I remembered my husband had suffered ulcers for 4 years until he was bleeding. Then we changed his diet. Then my mother-in-law gave me a book like 3 years ago. The book is for Naturalremedies. Then I remembered, let me go and read that book. Then I'm opening the book and I'm finding that there is a way for me to conceive naturally. Then I began to lead. I spent 2 years leading, looking for solutions.
Wow.
I began to lead about my body, what is working for my body and what is not working for my body. Yeah? Then I began to change. I came to realize, why are women are going through infertility? What are the problems? I found out is, what are you eating? What are you drinking?
Really?
Yeah.
That simple?
Yeah, simple. Then I found out if you are in this journey of infertility, 80% of your diet, it has to be alkaline.
80%
of your diet, it has to be alkaline.
Wow.
And to 20% it has to be acidic.
Okay.
So now when I'm reviewing my life, I'm realizing I'm having 200 acidic diet.
Wow.
And what is alkaline diet? Staying away from wheat products, staying away from meat, staying away from caffeine,
Wow.
ice cream, sodas, deep fried food, and wheat flour. So they said if you're not eating well, it may interfere with your hormone. So when the hormone is in balance, you won't be able to have babies, or you may not have ovulation. And then they were saying if you're consuming too much toxins, you may also not be able to conceive.
Consuming too much toxins like what? Because there are people who don't know what is toxic, what is not.
They're saying the air you're breathing, it has too much toxins.
The air?
Yeah.
Wow. So the air we're breathing has
too much toxins.
And that can affect even our reproduction.
Yeah, you bring more toxins in your body.
Okay.
They're saying the cleaning products you're using, they have so much chemicals.
Like makeup and soaps and all those.
Soaps, makeup, the relaxers we are
hair
putting.
Hair relaxers, the chemicals we're using.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a result, it accumulates too much toxins in your body. For some people, it may give them egg inequality, low egg quality. For some people, it may give them hormone imbalance.
Okay.
For some people, it may give them miscarriage. Wow. Due to too much toxins. So you have to look for ways to remove toxins in your body. And then they were talking about mineral deficiency. If your body does not have enough vitamins, it may cause you not to conceive.
Wow.
It may also bring you hormone imbalance.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're here listening to an inspirational story about a woman who literally cured herself of infertility using natural remedies. You're here with us on Life Happens with Bahati Joyce. We will be right back. Stay tuned with us. Welcome back to Life Happens with Bahati Joyce. Today we are being inspired by a woman who has overcome infertility challenges using natural remedies.
Looking back, I said, what are the solutions for all this? So what am I supposed to eat? What am I eating? They're saying my food, it has to be alkaline diet. And what are the alkaline diet? Refined whole grain food, vegetables, nuts, seeds. You need to know your body well. This food may work for me, it may not work for you. Suppose they are saying you should avoid wheat flour and then you should go for brown bread. Then I'm realizing that some people, they have flour allergy and they don't know. If you have flour allergy, it may also be difficult for you to conceive. So I began to to read about my body, I began to take the brown blood. And then I began to have bloating and constipation. Then I'm realizing flour is not working for me. I am allergic to it. So you need to know your body well, what is working for you and what is not working for you. So when you come to toxins, you can't really avoid the toxins, but at least you can reduce it.
The toxins that are going in
your body. Okay. Because they say sometimes the body is unable to remove the toxins because it's too much.
So it makes sense that you should reduce the input.
The input. So I stopped putting relaxer in my hair.
Really? You went all natural.
I began to go natural with my body.
Wow.
No Q-tips.
Wow.
No lipstick.
So everything went out the window. Makeup and
a lot of things.
Chemical.
And I began to look at another way of me reducing the toxins. Then I'm realizing that there's too much spices which are high in antioxidant. When you're taking the spices for antioxidant, it also reduces toxins in your body. Then I'm realizing in Tanzania we have enough spices which are high for antioxidant. Some of the things we are using every day and we don't know that it does miracles in your body, like ginger. It has enough
that
antioxidant.
You can just get in your home. Very easily accessible, very affordable. Cinnamon. Natural spices.
Rosemary. We are always putting it in pilau.
And it's very interesting you say that about the antioxidant because one of the things I've read about is the role and the place of herbal supplements and these natural spices in filling some of these nutritional gaps. So when you say, you know what, okay, we are taking in a lot of toxins, but we're also overlooking the fact that we have natural spices that can fight some of these toxins. So how did you now make this transition into the lifestyle that you've just described for us, the change in diet, you know, the exercise? How did you manage to make that transition? Because I think it's a challenge for many people. Now, as you said, in your case, it was infertility. For someone else, it might be something else. How did you make that transition into that completely healthy living?
It was never in the process.
It wasn't easy.
It was never easy. I had all this knowledge, but I was not ready to practice. I was not ready to get from the life I'm used to a new life. So I began in Naturalremedies. They are saying it takes 12 months for you to have total healing.
Wow.
And then I'm saying, what are the other options? Is there any option of me 3 months and to build? Well, I looked, so I wasted 1 year looking for another shortcuts. There was no shortcuts.
That's interesting because nowadays everybody's dieting and looking for a shortcut. There's no shortcut.
Then I realized this journey for infertility, this journey of natural remedy, there is no shortcut.
There's no shortcut, It's true.
If you want to do it, then you have to have this consistency until you get what you want. If it may take you a year, if it may take you 2 years, then you have to agree with the journey, you have to accept it.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. We're here with Matilda and she's talking about natural healing and her own journey with infertility. Thank you so much and stay tuned. Welcome back to Life Happens with Bahati Joyce. Today we are being inspired by a woman who has overcome infertility challenges using natural remedies.
The process was not easy. It required sacrifice and, most importantly, consistency. But because Matilda was eager and determined to conceive, she persevered.
How did that 2-year period look like for you? Up until what point did you now embrace and it became a part of your life? It wasn't a struggle anymore.
After I began to eat well, I began to take water. I was never taking water. Maybe I take water once in a week, a glass. So every morning when I wake up, I'll go with water. I had a target of taking at least 2 liters of water per day. It was never easy. You understand? So I began to take water every morning. I'm waking up. Then eating well, I stopped all that I was supposed to take. Then within 45 days, I got my period.
Wow.
Then I'm realizing, oh, these things,
it's working. 45 days of taking natural, let me say, remedies, natural solutions.
And exercise,
changing the diet.
Yeah.
45 days, you see results.
Yeah, I saw the results.
And I want to compare this to the 2 months that you spent taking medications and you were getting side effects and no results.
Wow. Yeah.
Interesting.
So another month, it was after 40 days, I got my period. Okay. Then 35 days, I got my period. Okay. Then it is stuck to 30 days. Then I'm realizing, to me, it was a miracle. Wow. I've never had something like that. I get period in January and I get another period maybe December. So you see the consistency. That was 2014. I've never missed my period since then. So I gave myself a 12-month program. Because I believe when you have a healthy body, you'll have health pregnancy. When you have health pregnancy, you'll have health baby and health mother. So I decided to give myself a year of practicing eating well. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. And now, take me to the place where you saw results and you got fruit, physical fruit.
Within 1 year of practicing, then I began to check when am I ovulating. Then I realized I'm ovulating. I was never ovulating. Then I became pregnant, just like that.
The news spread like wildfire. Some were skeptic, but those who struggled with a similar problem went searching for her. And that was the beginning of her healing at home consultancy, Mkeu.
That's what, a year after you've changed your lifestyle?
A year and 6 months later.
A year and 6 months later. This is amazing. This is crazy. I mean, to think that the solution was right in your home and it was a matter of discipline, a matter of just changing your diet, your lifestyle, how you were doing things, letting go of the chemicals and being intentional. A year and 6 months. Did you go back to your doctor with this?
Yeah, I went and I told her, she looked at me like you're crazy.
She couldn't believe you were pregnant.
Yeah. I told her what I did. And then she never really understood what I was talking. She was looking at me like, you don't know what you're saying.
Wow. But it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
How did that feel?
I felt very lucky.
Wow.
Very lucky. Then I'm realizing, so these formulas, they are really, really working. Then I said, no, I cannot keep it for myself. I know a lot of women who are going through infertility. I have to share it. I am not ashamed because I've gone through infertility. I'm not ashamed because you meet a lot of women who are going through infertility. They are not able to open up. Right. We don't talk about it.
It's true. And especially here in Tanzania, it's a bit of a taboo.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how you dealt with that stigma. Firstly, when you got married and couldn't have a baby, how did you deal with that stigma? You said you found the power in your story to share. How did you must have found a way to deal with it.
In my family, I never had any stigma. I never had anything. But when I began to share the story of these natural remedies to people who are going through it and people who are not going through it, I got enough problems. They were attacking me. They were saying these formulas, they can't work for Tanzanians. These formulas is for light people, for white people. It can't work for Tanzanians. So it was too much criticism.
Coming from now family or society?
Society,
okay.
When I began to educate them, they never took it.
Wow.
So out of 50 people, only 4 understood me.
Wow.
And they began to practice. I remember one lady, she had 2 years of marriage, another one was 4 years of marriage, another one was 3 years. Do you know they were able to conceive below 6 months?
Wow.
After following the formulas. So, you know, as women, we know each other. We're in so many groups, You're at primary school, secondary school, social media, as we call that, so we know each other. So people began to think, oh, so these formulas are working.
They're working, because 4 people had results.
So people began to come for consultation. So I began to give free consultation to people. The other day I could spend 16 hours a day teaching people on how they will be able to conceive. So along the way, when I was teaching these people, eating well, the importance of vitamins, we begin to see people were recovering from other diseases.
Really? Yeah. Other than just infertility?
Yeah. Then I'm realizing the thing of diet, it does more than gynecological problems.
Right.
It also heals other diseases.
Yeah. So before, I would like us to jump more into, the impact of natural remedies. I think it's something we have to embrace as Tanzanians.
Yes.
But I want to go back to stigmatization, because it's something that a lot of women are facing. So you're in a marriage, you've just gotten married. Especially African families, you're expected to conceive.
Yes.
There's no question about it.
No question.
So what really do we need to change about our culture, about how we perceive these women? Because here's a woman who went through it and overcame. You know the pain.
I know.
How should we change so that women are less stigmatized, and just touch a bit more on how society should change towards women like that?
I think infertility is a taboo. We don't talk about it. We are ashamed.
Yeah.
So I was able to mobilize these women from different regions of Tanzania and outside Tanzania.
Okay.
We could meet and talk about it.
How did you manage to get these women out to even begin to talk about it?
Through word of mouth. Those people were able to conceive.
But also it worked for you.
Yeah.
So now you had proof, you had a baby.
And those people.
And the people who you had invited and counseled now had babies.
Yeah.
So it had worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
They began to be good ambassadors
for you.
They could talk about it to other people.
Still, when they go home, they get stigmatized.
Yeah, that's why when we were meeting and talking about it, we could hear different stories. Some could say that I'm not talking with my husband. Wow. Some could say my in-laws are not talking with me.
Because of infertility?
Yeah. Wow. Some have stopped working. They say, why should I work and I don't have a baby? I'm working for who? Some are under too much stress, too much tension, giving up. And you hear a lot of stories which are very sad stories. If you could hear this women, they'll do anything just to have a baby, just to keep the marriage, just to keep the in-law. It doesn't matter. To
make the expectation from the husband, the expectation from the family, society looking down and saying there's something wrong with you because you're the problem.
Years of marriage, no babies.
After 11 years of marriage and no babies, and they went through the change of lifestyle and the formulas that you gave them, and they conceived.
And these women, they've done everything to have babies, but no results.
And they went through your program and got children.
Yes.
How many children how many women? I don't know now if we should count in terms of women or children. How many babies have you?
First of all, I've been able to share for more than 500 people.
Wow.
And 200 parents were able to conceive.
200 mothers were able to conceive through your program?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And many others to be healed from other diseases.
Okay.
Yeah. That disease which is not gynecological problems.
So it started helping them with other diseases as well, not just gynecology.
Which they are not aware, or they just accepted it can't go,
Okay.
So you know that this disease you get, they're telling you there is no cure for it, you just accept it as it is.
Which is also, I find interesting. So I am particularly interested in natural medicines, and one of the areas I find very fascinating is traditional healing, which is really using what we have around
in Tanzania.
What we have in Tanzania.
So much.
Yes. And what we have as Africans, the ancestral knowledge in terms of the medicinal plants they would use, the knowledge they have of these herbs and what the herbs can do for you. I find it so fascinating. It's an area of interest, and I want to talk a bit more about that now as Tanzanians. As Tanzanians, what do you think we have to do differently? Because from your story, not only did you heal women from infertility, but you were able to start helping them deal with other complicated issues that they didn't know about, just through change of lifestyle. What can we do as Tanzanians to embrace this natural products, natural herbs, and medicinal value that we find in this traditional healing?
There should be enough education about it.
So we need to start educating our young people.
Awareness.
That, we actually have they call it in some places alternative medicine, that is not so much the usual drugs and pharmaceuticals that we're used to, not so much the chemicals, but a natural way of healing, and it can work.
Yes.
Ginger, cinnamon, things that you have.
Senna.
Senna leaves, right.
And they don't need to go for these expensive formulas. We have our own.
What do you mean by expensive formulas?
Yeah, like expensive dieties.
Right,
Yeah.
the supplements and what, or what do you mean?
No, the diet is, sometimes we are given this complicated diet, and most people think I can't go into health living because the diet is very expensive. But I'm telling you, when it comes to vegetables, we have bamias, we have sukuma wiki, we have mchicha, you understand?
Use what is available.
Yeah. Most of these people, they're not talking about which is available. I'm not seeing people talking about bamia, which it has many benefits to people.
I guess I would want to know, as someone who's interested, as someone who's also wanting to make that adjustment, and how would you advise someone like me? Maybe I'm not dealing with infertility. How do I change my lifestyle? Step by step, where do I start?
I'll advise you by eating well.
Eating
the
well.
importance of exercise and why you should take multivitamins.
Okay.
Because when the body has mineral deficiency, some diseases are coming.
Right.
So when you're taking minerals, you'll be able to avoid many diseases.
After being diagnosed with 15 years of infertility, Matilda Kambanga miraculously cured herself using natural remedies. And having worked so hard to have children of her own, she was then hit with a terrible tragedy. The future that once seemed so bright darkened in an instant. Next up on Life Happens with Bahati Joyce.